Hey there, in this video we are going to go over our notes on how to do a Punnett square. So I have already titled my notebook page, How to Do a Punnett Square, as we start our genetic notes. So there are a couple rules to using a Punnett square that we are going to follow to make sure that we always find our correct answer. So number one, the first thing we always need to do is to write down a key. Basically, we need to know what each letter stands for, and we need to know the phenotype, the phenotype of all the genotypes. So, right, phenotypes of all the genotypes. So are we talking about, tall versus short, and then the genotype, big T, little t. So we need a key of what it is we're looking for in our Punnett square, from parent to offspring. So once we've got our key, we will then write down the genotypes of the parents, right? So are the parents homozygous or heterozygous dominant? Are they homozygous recessive? So we need all of that written down. After that, we will then draw your Punnett square. After you draw your Punnett square, you will put the alleles on the top and left side, right? Left side. So if I draw a Punnett square over here, right, my alleles will go on the top and they'll go on the left side. Okay, so that's my parent alleles. Okay. After that, I will then add the alleles together for each square. And we need to make sure we always put the dominant allele first, right? The dominant allele. So when we say add the alleles together, basically, right, that's like FOIL, right, from math class. So first, outside, inside, last. We're kind of foiling the alleles from the parents to find the offspring. And then finally, we can determine the probability of the genotype and phenotype of the offspring, right? The children. All right, offspring means children. So those are our 6 steps for how to do a Punnett square. So I'm just going to kind of like that. Do a practice problem just to make sure we understand the steps to how to do a Punnett square. So, for example, Mary is homozygous dominant for brown eyes, and John has blue eyes. What color eyes will their children have? So that's the question. So first thing we need to do is we need to write down a key. So we know from our example, right, Mary is homozygous dominant for brown eyes. So we know that brown, right, is dominant to blue, okay? So that means if you have brown eyes, right, you're going to have an uppercase B. And I'm going to use B because I feel like it. B for brown, B for blue. I could have also used the letter E for eyes. I just decided to use the letter B because I felt like it. So brown is going to be a big B. Blue would then have to be a lowercase b, right? Because brown is dominant to blue. So as far as our key is concerned, if I have brown eyes, I can be homozygous dominant, or I could be heterozygous dominant, right? Because I've got a capital letter, and if I have a capital letter, that means I'm dominant. 2 capital letters means homozygous dominant. A capital letter and a lowercase letter means I'm heterozygous dominant. So the only way to have blue eyes would be to have 2 lowercase letters. So that would be homozygous, right? Again, homozygous because it's the same letter, right? 2 lowercase letters, and then it's recessive. So I've got my key. I'm going to write down the genotypes of the parents, right? So Mary, it says homozygous dominant. And then, right, dad, it says he has blue eyes. And the only way to get blue eyes is to be homozygous recessive. So I've written down the genotype for my parents. Now I need to draw my Punnett square. And I need to make sure I draw it large enough where I'll be able to like write in it. And I always end up having to draw it a little bit bigger. But no, I actually did a pretty good job there. Look at that. That's pretty decent. All right. Put the alleles on the top and left side. So now it doesn't matter which parent goes on the top of the Punnett square or which one goes on the left side. I'm going to place mom, right, Mary here. I'm going to put her at the top of the Punnett square because I feel like it. And then dad, John, he's going to go over here on the left side. Okay? Step 5, add the alleles together for each square. Always put the dominant allele first. So I'm basically going to FOIL this, right? First, dominant, right? And I'm going to do the outside, big B, little b. And I'm going to do the inside one, big B, little b. And then the last one, big B, little b. And then determine the probability of the genotype and phenotype of all the offspring. So the question they actually ask me is, what color eyes will their children have? Well, in all 4 cases, right, probability is just like flipping a coin, right? If I flip a coin, I have a 50% chance of getting heads, a 50% chance of getting tails. So this would be like rolling a 4-sided die, right? 25% chance of each of these outcomes. Now, all 4 of these outcomes are the exact same, right? Heterozygous dominant, which means there will be, a 100% chance that their children will have heterozygous brown eyes. And then I'm going to circle that, right, just like I do in math class, so I can see my answer. Right? So that is the probability, right, or the color eyes that these 2 parents will have. So that's our example here for how to do a Punnett square. So make sure that if you've got any questions or concerns, please let me know. Otherwise, this is it for our notes. I'll see you next time. Bye.